chin. And the two jugulars, again, one there and one there. So there's the tendons in the armpit. You tend to cut those a bit, but as long as you don't really cut them, not so bad. Now I'm on to the skull, the home stretch. So a lot of people usually don't like this part because they can't tell where they are. So you just go into the beady parts, anywhere you see like a bit of a stretch, that's where you go. You'll cut through the ear cartilage, and then once you're through the ear cartilage, which is pretty far down, like they got a long face on these guys, so. But once you get to the ear cartilage part, you guys can see what I'm doing here. Hopefully that wasn't all off camera. Hopefully it was on camera stuff. There we go. This is why when you get to the head, make sure just before you get to the head, do the last quick sharpen up on your knife and stuff like that, so you don't after that. But anyway, there you go. Now you can start going up like this, and put a little tension on them there. Well, there, flip them around about 100 more times, and just when you get near the face, it's a lot. Hopefully you guys can see this. It's a lot easier when you can see what you're doing. You just flip them around, and you're going to feel the jawbone and all that on your knife. Just go easy, because every time you hit that bone, it dulls your knife a bit and then slows down your process. And you can kind of squeeze as you're doing this, so just puts a little tension, and then you'll get to the point where you get a kind of resistance on the side, and that's, like I say, the eyes and the ears and stuff like that. And when you get to the lip, it's almost the home stretch. Now the good news is underneath, it's not as critical if you make a cut there, but again, the goal is not to ever cut into the pelt if we can help it. But if you do, you're going to be cutting the bottom lip away anyway, so you can get a little bit aggressive there if your patience are starting to wear thin or whatever. But this guy, I think he's going to be about 2 hours. He's definitely cold. He's not frozen, so not so bad. But anyway, I just want to get this done for you. My knife is starting to dull. No. Again, these are probably the hardest guys to do. I mean, it's work no matter which animal it is. Okay, and we get into the lip and the bottom jaw. And whatever clothes you wear, those are going to be your fleshing clothes, because they're going to get roomy, even if you have yourself a good old-fashioned there we go, open the lip there, get your thumb in and get some tension on it around the eye. There we go. Ow, he's biting me. You're not supposed to bite me, you're dead. Otters' revenge. Okay, there we go. Now, again, be very careful when you're doing this so you don't cut into yourself. It wouldn't take much. This wouldn't take much. Hopefully get the angle a little bit better here. Sorry about that. And just gonna do that. Pull off there a little bit. This is why you don't want a pointy knife, so you're not cutting into yourself. This guy's a little bit tougher. But then again, I should have probably done him yesterday. My goal was to get under. I thought, like you get to the 1 hour mark and you think you're doing really good. Now I'm at the eye here. You get to the 1 hour mark and you think you're doing really good, and then you get down to the shoulders and the head, and it's just like, okay, wow. Now mind you, I've went inside a few times just to warm up, stuff like that, because it is kind of cold out here. I gotta cut that down a bit. Watch it. Just thumb in there. Watch out. You don't cut into yourself or slip. Don't put a lot of pressure on these things, because it doesn't take much to hurt yourself. And I mean, these knives, they might be dull while you're fleshing, but they're still plenty sharp enough to take off a finger, especially if your hands are really cold. You cut your finger off. Working on my snare. I know this place is a disaster. I will clean it up maybe tonight if I have a chance, but last thing I got to do with my poor otter here is I'm letting them thaw out really well. And he is, hopefully this will catch it. There we go. Just about perfectly primed. He's really nice. Just trying to get that angle so you can see the undergrowth there. But he's just about some. He's an old one. He's a very old otter. He's still quite stinky, but he's very nice, beautiful pelt on him. Just beautiful. Look at that. That's nice. So before I flesh him, I want to make sure he's like completely thawed out. He's like concaving on me. What the heck's going on? Sorry with the sunlight. I didn't even get the idea. But he's a really nice one. When you go to flesh them, make sure they're 100% thawed out. Now, I've been looking at some. The thing about trapping is you're always learning. Anybody that tells you they know everything and just do it this one way and that's it, don't listen to those people. They might have a good method, but the problem is, hey, wait, I think I do that. Okay, scratch what I just said. Okay, they might have one method that works really well, and if they do, obviously employ it. But always search for, regardless of that, never be closed-minded to trying something that might work really well. I've always been kind of semi-leery of snares, but these are passive snares, so these would be considered a restraining trap. Now, I can't do this with one-handed, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start showing my snares. And I bought two types of snares. Those are the wool snares. Those are the big ones. And I know it's kind of dark over here, but I'm just testing them to see that they're functioning and ready to go. Now, when I first bought these snares, I waxed them and I dyed them. So I'm just going to get this cam in the right spot here. And then I'm going to, yeah, see that one is not fully, it's not bad, but it's not dropping as quite as free as I would like. So I'm going to work those snares a little bit to make sure that they drop freely. I'm going to be taking the crossbow today. That should be interesting. And I got my crossbow today. Yeah. I wonder if I should have took the dust off of it before I brought it out. I don't use this thing nearly enough. I do have it up for a trade on my Facebook for a rifle with a stainless barrel, or an all-weather rifle type of thing, for a varmint rifle. I figured that'd be a better way for me to go. But I figured I'd take this out today because this is lighter and it is cold out here today. You can see yeah, so I put out some wolf snares last night, or the night before. No, last night, yesterday. And I baited it yesterday anyway. And I was doing some research last night for some snares, stuff like that. I showed you some snares in a previous video. I'll be showing you more on it. But I think I'm gonna plan a strategy that hopefully I'll get it out in the next couple of days, early for next week, because I still got to do that other beaver dam too. And today I got to finish up my otter. And doing the wood. And then I got to hopefully be skinning a wolf tonight. But I'm going to work on those snares. And what I'm going to do with the snares is a strategy I saw this guy use, where you got a creek and a hill, you set the snares at the top of the hill, like within, you know, like a couple of yards of your bait, and then your bait is the lure actually, and the trail is your bait, if that makes sense. You know, the trail is the bait. That's how the, you know, I remember Ted Nugent said that one time with deer hunting. He goes, the trail is the bait. You know what I mean? Like, that's true. It's true. And just so you know, knife of the day, I saw a creed. Actually traveling kind of light today. Just got the tongs with me. Learned something interesting about my otter yesterday. He was an old otter. His teeth were ground down. He was pretty old. It's hard to kind of date how old those things are, but yeah, so I'm pretty excited for my new strategy. But it is very cold, and I have my otter in the basement thawing out 100%, so hopefully I'll be able to flesh him in one go without him completely freezing up on me. And I'm going to do that as soon as I get back. But what I'm going to do is, as I get around the corner here, is I am going to, I've already kind of safety checked my, if you're going to ask what it is, this, I guess it'd be about a decade old now. When I first moved back up here, I wanted one of everything, which I still do, and I'm still working on that, but I'm too poor to do it. But one of the things I wanted was a crossbow. I never owned a crossbow before until this is the only one I've ever owned. And I've only shot them a handful of other ones a handful of times. So what I did was I researched what was the biggest, baddest crossbow in the world at the time. Behold, the Excalibur 225-pound pull, 350 feet per second, 3.5-pound trigger, 6.5-pound beast, the Matador. I don't know what to call this thing, and I haven't shot anything with it yet, and hopefully someday I do. But I bought it, and you know, I don't even think I got 200 shots off. Well, no, I probably got more like 500 shots off of this, but I just never really used it. I'm more of a bow guy. I'm gonna get down here on some leveler ground. I'm using a don't know what bolt. I think this is a Carbon Express and a Excalibur Exact broadhead with some cobwebs on it. So what I'm going to do is put this down. I'm going to load this guy. I won't load him right in the sun so you guys can see how it's done. I got my string cocker. Still got the scopes caps on it. I bought the scopes as an aftermarket thing. Now pretty much all crossbows come with scopes and everything like that. I'm going to get this all set up. Oh geez, this thing ever dirty. Anyway, yeah, I'll pause the video here and then I'll show you how I do it. So, crossbows. Why am I bringing this beast out today? I mean, going into that abyss of bush in there. Well, maybe I'll get lucky and I'll see a wolf or a coyote. Let's see, green or brown? We'll go green. Green side down. And then we load this in a safe manner. There we go. Make sure your bolt is all the way to the back. I'm going to leave the scope caps on it. There we go. Keep it away from your face. Don't trip and fall, especially when it's this slippy out. So, here's why. Okay, just so you know, my other rifle weighs approximately oh, thing of garbage there, don't want to look at that. Hopefully that gets moved. I didn't put it there, but the thing of approximately 12 pounds or so on my rifle. I'm just gonna scope the field. Not that I could shoot that far, but oh, I know why it's blurry. My scope caps are on. I am a huge fan of see-through scope caps. Why get all the dirt and stuff on there if you don't need to? I know it's bright like this. Okay, it's a little bit smudgy looking, but it's not so bad. But anyway, this weighs 6.5 pounds. Here's what I'm talking about. Here's my handgun. Let's see, I'll pick okay, there's some leaves back there. I have to be very careful. Don't want to be too much of a fool with this thing. But I could basically, okay, there's the leaves. There, I could pull that. Can't hold it too long, but I could hold this up forever and a day with one finger. And if I do a tripod, perfect eye alignment on the scope. I could hold this. There's some leaves there that I'm just scoping out. At a 40 yard is the furthest I would hunt with this. Excalibur recommends not hunting over 40. They say you could take game at 50. Alright, good day, hi and welcome. See that flood there, I guess because it's not staying open, they've opened this here a little bit. That's why the water went down so much. And the beavers haven't been here to fix it. What are they, on strike or something? What's the matter with you beavers? I even opened that up for you. Alright. Okay. Be that way, see if I care. But basically this thing around the edges froze like an inch last night, so I got just because the water level as it, you know. That's why you always set your trap about 2 inches or so below the water depth. Don't worry about the animals going over because they mainly travel on the bottom, so when they're that close to shore. If it's an otter, he's looking for like grubs and all kinds of stuff to eat on the bottom, like clams and stinky stuff. And beavers are the same thing. They'll like, I mean, coming across, they'll go big like that, but when they get close to the shore, they always zoom near the bottom, then come up with, you know, kind of like a sneak attack, like, I'm here. That's what they do. All right, g'day, hi, and welcome. All right, 1 wolf track, 2 wolf track. I'm on the old road. Haven't been back here in probably a couple of years. I don't know when I was last back here. Wow, I used to be able to get a 400-yard shot from there to just somewhere around the sand pit over there. All grew in less than 10 years. All right, so I'm going to track these guys. There's another wolf hill up there, a wolf hill there, and a wolf hill there. They're in this thick stuff. Look at that for briars. Isn't that something else? When you see them all matted down like that. Yeah. I haven't been back here in a long time. Look at the size of this guy. He's big. That's from this morning. We got a raven. What a horrible sounding bird. So this is the old beaver dam. The beavers have moved up from here. The beaver house that's right there, if it's still there, was ripped apart by a bear or something. But I've caught lots of beaver here. And oh, they've added a new dam. That's the old dam. This is kind of the new. Oh, look at that. There's a, take that home with me. That'd be useful. Whew, starting to get a little bit warm carrying this thing around. Oh yeah, they finally finished this dam here. Well, so they took the, oh yeah, I see, they took that part of the dam and then they brought it out here. That's the old beaver house right there. There's another beaver house right down in there. Caught lots of stuff here. But it doesn't look like it's as used as it was. That's it, I'll probably scare, I always used to scare muskrats right here. Okay, I lied, they're here. Holy, could they make it any easier for me? They were here this morning. Wow, look at that. Look at that. That whole dam was right over there. And it went in like this. And they moved all that over here. The only thing here is they, for some reason, the water's always stayed low here. They've never raised it up that far. And then over in there, I can never, you need hip waders to get in there, but there's a gold mine in there. So maybe they're oh yeah, look, see, it's open up there, so they'd be going there. You can see where he's busted out all here. Made a nice big freaking fancy trail. Thinking he's all badass and everything. Mr. Beaver, dragging your tail around. Cutting down my poplar trees. Thinking that nobody else might want to chew on those poplar trees. Maybe nobody does, but that's not the point. Yeah. Well, I know where the beaver are. I was right, they were up this way. I need to use it more. But this all kind of swamps up too, so it's hard to get through here in the summer too. Well, it's impossible with the briars, but with a four-wheeler it's still hard. Check my safety. So, you want to become a trapper. Well, it takes a lot of psychological, mental, you know, conviction to do it. And I mean, we've never had it so easy in our lives. As hard as a job as a trapper is, because it's very physically demanding. And okay, it's nice right now, but it's almost always cold. You're almost always soaking wet, damp. And if you don't have adequate equipment, it makes it that much more miserable, i.e. me. But you got to psych yourself out for it. So we wake up in the morning. Now, I'm not one of those guys that get up at 5 o'clock in the morning because I don't have a 100-mile trap line and, you know, a 10-mile trap line with 100 traps, that type of thing. So I leave later in the day when it's warmer. But next year that might change. So, you know, you don't really get to take a day off. It's like farming. You're always working. You're always doing something. There is no downtime for the season, right? And it's very uncertain how much you're going to get paid from the auction. And you only get paid maybe once or twice a year. So and I'm not saying it to discourage, but I don't like to lie to people, because I know there's a lot of people that want to promote stuff to get people into the, you know, into the frame mind of doing it and stuff like that. And I want to do that too, but I want to do that in such a way that if you get into it, there's at least amount of surprise, because the problem is you'll half-ass it if you don't realize how much effort there is into it. So psychologically, you have to be ready to be uncomfortable all the time. All right, g'day, hi, and welcome. What a mess I'm dealing with. Notice there's some snares missing here. We'll get to that in a second. But first, he's still kind of frozen. But today is boarding day for this guy. This is my otter. And yeah, I did him pretty good. Now, grab these. I'm probably going to need these. All right, here's what I got going on. These two traps got to get fixed up today. And I'm going to do some beaver baiting. Here's all my snares. I don't know if there's 12 or 14 here. I can't remember. But I'm going to show you a few things. I'm going to get my snares ready to go. And hopefully the lighting's always bad down here. You'll be seeing it out on the trail anyway. But what I just want to do, I was going to talk about the fur prices. But instead, I think what I'm going to do, okay, I'm just going to show you what we're looking for our snares. Oh, I didn't realize these had the coil. Oh, they have the... That is so important. That is so important. I didn't realize they were on there. We'll get to that point in a minute. Okay, so the anatomy of my snare is basically, we'll start off here. We have a ferrule right at the end, okay? And there might be different types of crimps or whatever. Then we've got a swivel. And then we got this little wire spring. What's this all about? We'll get to that. Now, the first thing we want to do is I waxed these a couple of years ago when I bought them. Bought them from Cabela's. I got 1, 2, what was it? Stairs are like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I was sure I had 14 snares. Oh yeah, 11, 12 is already in the bush. Yes. So it was a dozen I bought. But what I'm doing right now, before I take them out of the bush, is I'm going to get them all ready. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the cam. Okay. So we already looked at the other end. We have a cam. This is just a passive cam. You see there's another little crimp and it's bent. And then you've got just this little cam. And the way it works is you leave it like in that position, and when it snags, it locks so it can't go back as much. So it just kind of gets tighter and tighter and tighter. So the tighter it gets, the tighter it gets against the cable, and then a lot of times you have to cut the snares off. So I want to work this, make sure it's as supple as possible. And then what I want to do is just run this up and back and forth, up and down the cable to make sure everything feeds nice. And see, with the wax on it, I don't know about waxing snares, because the wax, see, I can feel the wax bumps on there. But what I want to look for now is, that is a very good working snare. That snare is going to work almost instantaneously. You hold down the fork, Goof. Yeah. All right, so provided I left my other thing, my other toque at home. Thinking it's nice and sunny today. It's not going to be that cold. That wind seems cold already. Keeping broadhead a little bit further down. Last thing I want to do is slip and fall on that. Freaking ice capades everywhere. Try not to strangle myself out with my wool snares. And yeah, I'm gonna save my, or rescue my two Kana bears. Got the Fred Bear Super Mag 48 out with me today. What's going on with the camera? It's like, can't tell if it's in the right spot or not. It always seems like it's too low, but then when I look at the footage usually looks okay. Hard to do this with covered up. Anyway, it's like, I'll get this right. Okay, yeah, so there we go. Got my Fredbear Super Mag 48 loaded, ready to go. 10 wolf snares with me. Hope you guys can see that. Don't have any calls. Knife of the day is my Beaster SP10 Marine Raider, Ontario knife SP10 Marine Raider. I have this just in case I get a quick shot at something. Not too much I can hunt right now, but if there was a wolf, whatever, it's not too cold for the bow, so I don't know if I'd take it out in minus 25, but I think it'd ruin it. These things, they actually quite, this thing's been out in the weather quite a bit. I'm kind of surprised how well it's held up over the years, although I've yet to kill something with it. But yeah, so anyway, figured rather than carrying the heavy rifle, I'll carry a bunch of snares and my bow.